It's 6:31. I think I'll just, I think TC is just joining in. Amber, do you want to invite TC as a panelist? So then we can get started. There you are. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rituja Indapure, and I'm the Vice Chair of the Planning Commission, calling this meeting to order. So good evening, everyone, and I'll start the roll call. Rituja Indapure present. Josh?
Here.
Mike Bresca?
Here.
TC Larry? You're on mute, but I think we saw you. And Amber, do we have confirmation that Karthik, Mark, and Karen are absent today?
That is correct.
Thank you. With that, I will just ask that we move to approve or reapprove the agenda by consent. Is that okay with everybody, or does anybody have any comments? Okay. Yes, thank you. And approval of the minutes. Can we do that by consent as well, or does anybody have any questions? Okay. All right. So the agenda and the minutes are approved by consent. And with that, Amber, I'll hand it off to you to read the emergency proclamation for public comment for a non-agenda item.
Okay, thank you. Pursuant to the Governor's Emergency Proclamation 2025, the city is unable to provide an in-person location for the public to listen to the virtual Planning Commission meeting this evening. Meetings are still accessible to the public, and public comment can be submitted. Each speaker is allowed up to 3 minutes for non-agenda comment, 5 minutes if representing an organization, and 7 minutes for agenda public comment. Once you have dialed into the meeting, please virtually raise your hand to indicate that you would like to provide public comment. You can do so by entering *9. Once you have, your mic will be muted until you are called on during the public comment period. To give public comment via Zoom, you will join via the link https://zoom.us/j/76897869. To give public comment via mobile or landline telephone, dial the following number: 253-215-8782 using webinar ID number 910-7689-7869. Again, you may raise your hand by dialing *9. Thank you.
And do we have anyone, Amber, for public comment? Non-agenda?
We do. One moment.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Stickney, you are able to give comment.
Hello, Planning Commissioners. Paul Stickney here. Sent an email in tonight about some non-agenda public comment and would like to invite each of you to reach out and chat sometime if you'd like about the future direction of the community. Not election, that's over, but there's been a long time, different opinions is the kind way to say it, of which way Sammamish should go. And there's been information that's been missing to help put that together, and comparing comprehensive consequence topics of the different approaches to the future on land use growth, what's net positive, what's not. It's time to inform the different opinions that have prevailed in the past and exist today with some common information, and look for what direction adds the most value holistically to many, many consequences in the community. And I've turned in some information. A lot of it you've seen before, but I'm going to only speak to a couple core things. And that is, let's get the information on housing and services that our community has never had. Let's alter the current Bluma EIS to focus on congestion, not concurrency. Focus on congestion at school choke points at the north end of the city in the AM hour, and to provide safety and complete street improvements to major arterials, which can increase capacity because there's not as much competition of use. Then let's do another, and I'm speaking we as the King's we, let's do another EIS to alleviate misdevelopment of housing relative to internal needs and wants over a cycle of life, and put all that together to get a community-backed, cohesive, unifying vision of the direction. And direction transcends election. They are just not the same thing. It's time to get on a path that brings our community together, unifies, cohesive, instead of being, divisive. Just watch the Facebook groups, you can see it. But there's opportunity to, with informed positions, achieve this. So I'll just keep it short now for the non-agenda comment, and would invite conversations with you, as I am going to be with many groups and influencers within the community. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Stickney. And that was our only public comment. So back to you, Chair Indapire. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you, Paul Stickney, for your public comment. And I would now like to invite Sarah to give us a presentation about an all business item, which is Community Visioning Project. So it's
Thank you so much. Good evening, commissioners. Let me share my screen before I start. Say I can talk and show the video afterwards. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. Good evening again. My name is Sarah Estri, and I'm here tonight to provide a brief project overview about the Community Visioning Project, and then we will start our activity to get your feedback on the current vision statement. I will be playing a brief video that you can see right now on the screen that we prepared for this purpose, and then we will do our activity together. We repeated this activity with all the other commissions to understand the common themes. With that said, I will play the video. Please note that our time is limited, so please hold your questions until after the presentation and the activity. Thank you. I will play the video right now.
The City of Sammamish is working on an exciting project to imagine the city in 2044. This short video explains why this is important and how you can get involved to make your voice heard. The project's purpose is to create a strong and clear community vision that shapes the Sammamish 2024 Comprehensive Plan, which in turn guides the future of the city. To get to a final vision statement, the project team will review the current vision statement, which was adopted in 2015, conduct community outreach to understand which different aspects or characteristics of Sammamish are most important to residents and other stakeholders, and perform the outreach based on diversity, equity, and inclusion to make sure we're listening to everyone. You might be wondering what the community vision is and how it's used. The vision is an aspirational description of what Sammamish will be in the future, in 2044 to be precise, and can be considered the guiding light or North Star for decision makers. The vision is grounded in community voices and reflects community values and priorities like sustainability, health, or quality of life, things we'll ask you to tell us about what's important. And the vision, once it's adopted, is used as a basis for identifying goals and policies in the comprehensive plan and other city plans and decisions to move the city closer to the community's desired future. The city also has some responsibilities to plan in a regional context. In Washington, we use a nested hierarchy for community planning, with local plans at the center, closest to on-the-ground changes. Planning begins with the Growth Management Act, or GMA. The GMA sets big picture expectations about the content and framework for comprehensive plans. Then the Puget Sound Regional Council, a multi-county planning body, establishes regional priorities and guidance for multi-county planning issues like traffic or housing choice and affordability. To further address these types of issues, King County sets countywide planning policies. Finally, the local comprehensive plan describes how each jurisdiction will be consistent with all of this guidance. At the heart of it all is the community vision. So, what do we need from you? We need you to tell us about your community and everything you value about living, working, or playing in Sammamish. Your input will make sure the best parts of Sammamish as it is today are reflected in the statement. Help us understand what the community, the entire community, wants for its future in 2044. And let us align the vision statement with the community's values, priorities, and interests. The vision can then be used to move Sammamish closer to its 2044 ideal by informing goals and policies. Once the vision is adopted, it becomes the lens through which goals and policies are viewed and decisions are made. This leads to big and small implementation actions over the course of many years, which in turn leads to achieving the vision. This project has a quick timeline, with most of our activities happening this fall and early winter, and the whole project wrapping up in March. Community engagement begins in mid-September. Then, look for a survey in October or November. If you receive a paper survey in the mail, please fill it out and send it in. Otherwise, look for a link to fill out the survey online. The city will advertise the link as soon as it's available. We'll also be hosting or attending events throughout the fall, like the October Town Hall meeting, where you can talk with us about what's important to you. The Planning Commission and City Council will hold meetings in early October, early February, and mid-March to review findings, recommendations, and the final product. Find all the project information as it's available, including the survey link, event schedule, and our findings and reports as they're developed, online at connect.sammamish.us/community-visioning.
You booked a cozy Verbo mount.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for watching, and sorry for it's YouTube. It goes coming from YouTube and advertisement after YouTube. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint presentation with you. Give me 1 second, please. Can you see this screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay, while this slide shows that this project started in September, the project originally started in August. We worked with our consultant and met with our internal stakeholders to develop the scope of work and outreach activities, which began in September. We are wrapping up the information gathering phase in early December, so we can roll into the analysis phase. We have lots of events, and we had also lots of events. So please check our calendar check our website to get more updates. Now that we talk about the project, we will move to the activity part. We are looking for an active discussion to share your individual perspective and feedback. We will use this information to identify common themes and integrate that in our resolved vision statement. So let's start the activity by reading the current vision statement, and then we will ask you 3 questions. So I will just read the current vision statement. Sammamish is a vibrant bedroom community blessed with a well-preserved natural environment, a family-friendly, kid-safe culture, and unrivaled connectedness. From its expanding tree canopy to its peaceful neighborhoods to its multimodal transportation resources, Sammamish captures the best of the past, even as it embraces the burgeoning digital future and meets housing affordability through balanced, sustainable housing. It is a state-of-the-art community, engaged, responsive, and generous in its support for the full range of human endeavor. So with that said, I'm going to have the first question. It's going to be like a kind of workshop. Please feel free to provide your ideas, and I'm going to write the comments, and we will integrate to the vision statement that we'll work on. So the first question is, which words or concepts resonate with you and why?
Thank you for that question, Sarah. So since we're 4 of us, I would welcome any of our commissioners who want to respond to this question. It's an open discussion, so feel free to sort of verbalize what your thoughts are on this. And then Sarah, can you just remind us when, so this was established in 2015, the one that you read was created in 2015? Okay.
This is the one that you have right now on the screen is for a 2015 vision statement, yes. Great. Which is currently on our website.
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, please feel free, it's just few words that you see in the current vision statement that you think resonate with you. Just, just say it. It's very casual.
Go for it, Mike. I think Mike is ready.
Yeah, I'll get things started.
Thank you.
Well, what resonates is the well-preserved natural environment. It says kid-safe, culture-friendly. Those, I would actually expand that to safe culture, and the generous support for the full range of human endeavor. So, and now just also for clarification, Sarah, those are words that are resonating with me, but not necessarily like fully achieved vision statements from 2015. There's still maybe some opportunities in all of these, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what resonates.
Thank you for your comments. I don't see the screen. If anyone, for some reason, I don't see who is raised their hand. Please,
sure.
if Ritusha, if you could just.
I will, yeah. I think Josh is ready for his comments. Josh, go for it.
Sure, I'll try to go in order here. Bedroom community resonates with me. That's the reason my wife and I moved to Sammamish. We were tired of living in kind of the city, and so we wanted to get away, and we understood we were going to have to drive to get to a city. So that's a phrase that resonates with me, along with well-preserved natural environment. That's what, when we drove into Sammamish looking at a house, that's what kind of drew us in, was kind of a lot of the old growth trees in our area. Peaceful neighborhoods does, and I guess expanding tree canopy kind of connects with the natural environment part. Peaceful neighborhoods, I think that's accurate and resonates. I've said this before, it's hard to like not have any of this, sound good. So I just stop there and say that those are the ones that are top for me here in the statement.
Thank you.
I can go next. So I have been here in this area for almost 19 years. So I think what strikes to me from this particular vision statement is family friendly, natural environment, peaceful neighborhoods. Yeah, I think those are some of the words that just stand out for me in this vision statement.
Thank you.
All right, TC, go for it.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot here, kind of a lot to unpack. I guess maybe I tend to hone in on things like in the first sentence where it says a bedroom community blessed with well-preserved natural environment. It almost seems to state that it just happened, not through any purposeful action, right? And I think it is a vibrant bedroom community with a well-preserved natural environment that everyone has really had to work towards. So I would like to just kind of change the framework to incorporate the fact that it doesn't just happen organically. That's kind of my piece on it.
Great point. Thank you so much. Any other comments?
Yes, yeah, I was going to ask the same thing before we move on to the next question.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we can move on to the next one.
Okay, sorry. Because because I don't see the screen, so I'm kind of blind right now. What words or concepts are missing? And I'm trying to see if I can change my view. Please go ahead. We would love to hear.
Yeah, I think for me, I'll echo what Mike said a little earlier, just overall safety. I think it says kids safe culture here, but I think just, overall safety of the city that we have, I think that doesn't really come through here. And the other thing which I think is really missing for me is having, just a vibrant community space where people can meet or go to restaurants or enjoy cultural activities. So those are some of the things that I think are really missing. I think yes, it's a bedroom community, but I would love for it to be more of a living room kind of concept as well, where entertainment, food, and all the other needs that we need are also reflected in our city.
Great, thank you. And I can see Commissioner Labby has questions or he wants to comment.
Well, I guess I forgot to put my hand down, but
I just fixed my screen. That's why I can see everyone right now. Finally.
I don't know. I was reading through Mary Wichter's comment via email, and she was talking about the like the study that came out, and I found it very interesting because I think that a lot of the folks that I know and I interact with here on the plateau, my circle of friends, we all have congregated here because of its rather disconnected nature, right? Like, I like the fact that the biggest store here is Safeway. If I don't want to have to deal with the hustle and bustle of a downtown area, I'm not required to go through one. And I think that trying to change the character of the city to include more walkability, I don't know. I have a hard time with it. I mean, I already like the study kind of gave like a numerical scoring based on, the number of bars, the number of restaurants, the number of performing arts center, things like that. And honestly, like, I don't go to those when they're just around the corner. I wouldn't go to them when they're in the same city. I don't want to go to those. I want to have kind of my isolated environment. And I'm probably in in the category of few people that feel that way, right? Like if I want something, I want it to be purposeful and I want to go to it. And then I want to come back to just my little cove, right? But I think that as we're talking to the future generations of Sammamish, if we think that that's what people who are here now want, as opposed to people who might be here in the future, I don't know. I think that when we talk about what makes Sammamish what it is, I think it's really a lot about the people, and I really like the part of the statement that talks about support of the full range of human endeavor. I think that's really pretty cool because there's some folks here on the plateau that do really neat and amazing things, right? From working at SpaceX to working on AI to all the other things in between. I think that's really neat. I would love to see kind of more of that being represented.
Thank you.
I'll put my hand up this time.
I can see Commissioner Bresco.
And I'll jump in. So I may be a little bit of a dissenting opinion in this. When I read vibrant bedroom community, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't think of a bedroom community as a vibrant. I think it is just quiet. And so what is missing for me is opportunities, places to be able to meet and greet people. Take a look at how busy Starbucks gets, and to have more, small shops, restaurants, gathering places would make it more vibrant. And we could do that without having, big box stores or a Costco sitting up, in the middle of the plateau. So I do think that, somewhere, these ideas about places for the community to gather as individuals or small groups would be helpful. And then the other thing that's maybe implied in the well-preserved natural environment or the full range of human endeavor is the parks. Which we actually have, a pretty fair amount of, like Soaring Eagle, there's people there all the time, or Evans Creek, the ability to get outdoors and walk around or just relax outdoors. So that seems to be implied, but maybe could be, surfaced a little bit more. So those are two things that I think are perhaps missing. It would help make Sammamish a more livable place.
Thank you so much. And I can see Commissioner Amato.
So I want to clarify, this vision's supposed to be good for roughly seven years, right?
The vision statement that this project is trying to suggest to the city council members, it would be good from 2024 to 2044 for 20 years.
Okay. Got it. Okay, so it's one thing I think is missing is something for, we say, kids safe culture. We don't really have anything for teens to do here. So I think a little bit of focus on that, other than hanging out in parking lots, there's no place for them to go do something. I think other commissioners made some good points. My biggest concern with this here is it says everything. And when you're so broad, you can't focus. There's no focus on this. So what I think, it's not that things are missing. I think it's that there's too many things and should be pared down and more thoughtful about what we can actually accomplish in the given time, and think about what we really see Sammamish being reasonably within that time period. So I can't, other than what I mentioned, think of anything that's missing. Maybe too many things included.
Great point. Thank you so much. Any other comments for the second question? We can come back to this question if there would be any comments. So the last question is, describe Sammamish's ideal future in just 2 to 3 words. It doesn't need to be related to the current vision statement. Again, vision statement should be something inspirational, aspirational. So with that said, please describe your ideal Sammamish future. And is it okay if it's more than 2 to 3 words? Commissioner Fresco, please go ahead.
Oh, and I thought of 3 words and I have to think of more.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to say you don't need to limit to 2
What
to
I
3
jotted
words.
down was livable, natural, and safe.
Great, thank you.
I would say inclusive.
Thank you. Can you please describe, Commissioner Indapur, what do you mean?
I think,
Elaborate.
Yeah, I think, Sammamish, as we know, the demographics are diversifying. We're seeing huge diversity in the city. And I think we need to be really purposeful in making sure that everybody feels welcome, that there are folks, who live in different socioeconomic strata, that they all feel welcome and that they're included in the city, and not just, citizens, but also residents who live here, people who come to work here, that they all feel like they're part of the city. So I think, making sure that we are inclusive and that we foster a sense of belonging for people who live here is really important for me. And not just from, again, a demographic perspective, but also from a different people of different orientation, of different age groups. I know many, for example, senior citizens are, they cannot afford to live here. But, we need to make sure that we are a place for all to be in Sammamish. Those who want to choose to live here should be able to live here.
Thank you. Any other comments?
When I think of Sammamish, to me, I kind of think of thriving, safe, and home. I mean, I've lived a lot of places in my life, and being in Sammamish for me has really felt like the first place I was a part of the community and integral, as opposed to just another resident.
Great. Great comment. Thank you.
The brevity makes it extremely difficult here. A better connected would be one. And what I mean by that is we've got a lot of locations with missing sidewalks and not a lot of connectivity between areas that I think could be improved. I get into the really tactical nitty gritty, and that's not what you're looking for. So, yeah, I'm going to need more time on some broader concepts. But
thank you. Thank you. So if there is no other comments, our workshop is over. We will integrate all your comments and other commissioners' comments in our report, which we are going to present to the Planning Commission in February 3rd, 2022. And also in January 27, we are going to have a popcorn with planning to go over the result with public. And all the information is available on our page. Thank you again for your comments and have a great evening.
Thank you, Sarah, for making us think a little bit about why we love our city the way we do and why we've chosen to make Sammamish our home for our families. So thank you. And with that, yeah, I think with that, we are now going to do a year, so it's new business, where we're going to get a preview or look back at the whole year on what we've done. Sorry, it's not a preview. It's taking a look at the year. So who is going to do that presentation? I wasn't sure.
I will go ahead, and if I can share
Jackie,
my screen.
yes. Yes, hello, Jackie. Good to see you.
Hello. All right, let me make sure I'm sharing the right one here. All right. There we go. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jackie Belil.
Jackie, really quick, we're seeing your presenter slide.
Oh no.
Yes, I think you might need to switch screens. This happened, I think, with City Council.
I haven't done Zoom yet. I've been doing I was used to the GoToMeeting with everybody, and then they went and switched it on me.
No.
So can I suggest something, Jackie? You can first on your PowerPoint, click on the presenter mode, and when you are sharing your screen, share that screen.
Okay.
That might, yeah.
I think I know what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me try this again. All
Perfect.
Right.
You're
Can
good.
you see my notes?
Nope.
All right. Let
Thank
me
you,
start
Jackie.
over real quick. Thank you, Kelly. Good evening, Planning Commissioners. My name is Jackie Belil. I'm now a management analyst with the Long Range Planning team. It's very nice to see everyone again. I did want to cover, I didn't mean to confuse anyone, but I did change my last name and my title right about the same time. So I apologize if that was confusing for anyone. I was told that it was. I thought I would clarify that there. I'm the same person. I was a little bit excited for this topic tonight, just because I was able to be there for a good part of this year and was able to be not quite involved, but was able to listen to and learn a little bit more about some of these projects. And I'll try to keep it pretty short and sweet. It looks like we might be a nice early evening, but we'll take a quick look back at 2021 as a whole, and then we'll kind of sneak ahead to 2022 and get a little bit of a peek. So as the planning commissioners, you mostly work with the long range planning team here in DCD, the Department of Community Development. But just a refresher for a few other teams who contribute to the content we share and just also keep the department running and moving in the right direction. Our admin team are the ones answering the resident inquiries, managing contracts, financial guarantees, and a whole lot more. Amber joins us from the admin team tonight. The current planning team is separate from our long rangers. They focus their time on managing permits and development review. The building services are our wonderful inspectors and plan reviewers. The inspectors spend the majority of their time in the field. They spend a lot of time communicating with residents, lots and lots of time learning more about the city and more about some of the problems they're facing or some of the positive things that they're facing. Our plans reviewers spend a little bit more time behind the scenes, poring over many, many pages of plans. Code compliance kind of speaks for itself. They spend their time investigating complaints that are made and enforcing city codes. And then we have the long range planning team, and we focus mostly on the policy and regulations and then the special projects, which you guys have heard quite a lot about already. And since we haven't seen anyone in person, I thought I'd give you a little bit of what people look like. Amber is our front desk, mostly front desk and also office assistant. So she joins as the Planning Commission coordinator, along with Evan, who's now our senior management analyst and is the Planning Commission liaison. I always mix those two up, even when it was my job. David and Kelly spend a lot of time with you all as our director and deputy director. You also spend a lot of time with Miriam, who leads our long range planning team as the planning manager. Chris Hankins and Lindsay Oswalt kind of pop up here and there. Chris is our senior planner and Lindsay is our planning project manager. And then Sarah and I are the team's management analysts. It's good to check on what everybody's titles are on there. We've had a couple different title changes and promotions, including Evan, who I think is here tonight. I think we addressed that at the time, but he's now a senior management analyst. I'm not going to read all the numbers out just because there's quite a few, but I'll let you read them out for yourself. For the team meeting, for the department meeting this quarter, the teams put some numbers together just for some statistics to look at. And it was pretty cool to look at the numbers kind of as a total for the whole year. A lot of the projects and cases and whatever you can call them, inspections, they can be very time consuming and involve lots of communication with residents and being out directly in the field. So these numbers were pretty cool to look at and very much something to be proud of for our teams. Some of them are a little bit scary to me. I don't know how the inspectors do that many inspections, but seeing it totaled up as a year is definitely shows you a little bit more of what they do day to day. And then as far as what the Planning Commission and department have achieved together, we'll kind of go back a little bit to January. We continued the wireless communications facilities code update, which was the public hearing was continued back from December, if you remember. And we also introduced the urban forest, I have to look it up, urban forest management plan implementation strategies. And also the stormwater code update. And we all spent quite a bit of time on the phase 2 development regulations update. We finally had that public hearing in July. That was a good chunk of the year. And then we completed public hearings for the school impact fees in the summer and the annual docket requests in the fall, and then began work on community visioning, which you've heard about tonight. Once we wrapped up 2021, just taking a quick preview of next year. It's pretty likely that other topics or projects can be added, but these are kind of the 4 main focuses of the year that we wanted to speak about tonight. You're already familiar with community visioning. You've heard from Sarah and Miriam, as well as Sarah's little movie today, which was very cute. I don't know how to do that yet. As well as the urban forest management plan, strategic implementation plan with Kelly and Evan that will continue on next year. One of the big projects coming up is the 2024 comprehensive plan update. This comes once every 8 years. It's very exciting, and it's going to be a large focus of the next year. It'll take up a lot of staff time as well as a lot of your time as planning commissioners. We're going to be very excited for that. And Miriam and I are going to spend some time with you working on the housing action plan next year. The city of Sammamish applied for and received a grant from the Washington State Department of Commerce to create a plan to increase the housing diversity and affordable housing within the city. More information on these topics will be coming out next year, of course, along with potential other projects. But these 4 will be a good part of the year and possibly even into 2023 as well. That's all I have. I tried to keep it short for everyone tonight. But as always, you can always reach out with any questions. I don't always have the right answers, but we can always connect you with the right person. But I'm always happy to reach out and answer anything I can.
Jackie,
yes,
if I may add, I do have some late breaking news for the Planning Commission. It's always changing around here, but in a good way. Some of you may know our budget has passed, and as part of the mid-buy budget, the Community Development Department did receive 3 new positions, a senior planner, a permit tech, and a combination inspector that will do both building and electrical inspections. These positions are desperately needed. We are getting busier and busier with our housekeeping items, the things that don't typically come to the Planning Commission, but keep us very busy. So that is something to celebrate. And we are going to be starting the recruitment process here shortly to get those positions on board and moving. So that will be a huge support for us. Tuesday night is a city council meeting. It is a big one for DCD. It is a DCD night on Tuesday with city council. It will be the public hearing for the phase 2 development regulations. And we are all excited for that. That was a heavy lift by the Planning Commission with our community stakeholder group. And we're right there in the fourth quarter, and I'm really looking forward to that meeting on Tuesday. In addition to the adoption of the school capital facility plans and the 22 docket. Additionally, DCD will be presenting an updated permit fee schedule. That and the capital facility plans haven't been in front of Planning Commission, but it is one of our work plan items that we work through with our city council. So I'm sure everyone has plans for Tuesday, but tune in. It's a big night for us here in DCD, and we're really looking forward to it, as well as December 14th with the city council, which we will hopefully see the adoption of that fee schedule. And I believe the public hearing will be opened, maybe extended to the 14th for phase 2. So fingers crossed we get phase 2 development regulations adopted and implemented at the beginning of the year. 22 is going to be busy. And if I can give it a theme, it is long range planning centered. It is the comprehensive plan update. And that will be due to Commerce on June 2024. It really will take that long to work on. It is going to be a big effort, not just with DCD, but with all the departments. So the next 2 years will be very much long range heavy with a lot of planning and policy development. So it's an exciting time to be here in Sammamish. So there you go. I just wanted to kind of let you know what's coming up with City Council and some of the good news that came out of the budget for our department.
Definitely, thanks for sharing all those statistics. That's a lot of what we mean by housekeeping items, and it's a lot of really hard work and very time-consuming work. So that's exciting to hear. They'll have a bit more help.
Thank you, Kelly, for that update. And all the, like you said, the Planning Commission has put in a lot of work. And I think the next few years are going to be really, really important, especially when we update the comprehensive plan. And I was just briefly glancing at the long-term calendar. And I think we're going to see a housing plan action presentation in our next meeting. So really looking forward to that as well. So great. And with that, I think it's time for us to open it up for public comment for the agenda items. So where are you, Amber?
Thank you. So each speaker is allowed up to 7 minutes for agenda public comment. To give verbal comment, you may join via the Zoom link at https://zoom.us/J//91078978669, or you may dial in by landline to the phone number 253-215-8782 with the code 910-768-97869. Upon entering via the landline, please dial *9 to raise your hand. And we do have one public comment ready now. One moment. You are unmuted. Go ahead and give comment.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. Paul Stickney here. Sent in another email today about this visioning concept with quite a bit of information, and again invite a sit down and conversation about the future direction in Sammamish. I've heard all of you speak tonight, and I agree with everything everyone said. There's a lot of folks in the city that are here because they like the feel of the community as it is. There are others that would want a little bit more of a living room for sake of, discussion. But I'm going to dive a little bit into the deep end of the pool And my conversation tonight is not scripted. I'm not reading. This is extemporaneous comment. We in Sammamish have planned, and again, the King's we as a community, because I've been involved since, before incorporation. We've planned for our external regional growth target, but there's two other sources of numbers, what I call capacity and internal. Capacity deals with current zoning and regulation and what that allows. And internal asks a question, which is really the question. What are the housing needs for those that live in Sammamish over a cycle of life that look to retain who's here when unplanned and planned changes happen in their lives, not to change a character, not to attract a sort of different economic and demographic group. It's based on single family housing that exists and some multifamily that exists and jobs that are here. Life happens, change happens. What's the right mix of housing? In my earlier comment, I did not read it, but what I've been talking about with the potential to optimize and alleviate misdevelopment, which I'll talk about in just a minute, would have an increase in the number of units planned in town center and in future centers, which is roughly 2% of our land area. And I say 2% because town center is actually 2% of land area, but almost half of it is kept back in civic uses, parks, critical areas, buffers, roads, open space. So it's about half developed. And our current centers are about 1% of the land area. And a little bit of a different perspective is this. Roughly 85% of the houses that are constructed in Sammamish were either built before the community incorporated or in the pipeline at incorporation. Sammamish built roughly 15% of the houses that are here. What I am advocating for, and so are many others that are behind this overall approach, is to get the information on what types of housing and services our community would want over a cycle of life, and how it would translate is, for the most part, not completely, because nothing is ever 100% black and white, but for the most part, there would be some increases in the number of housing units, not based on a whim, based on what's needed and wanted, and only meeting a lower portion of needs over time to intentionally and purposefully, which I heard many of you talk about tonight, to right size different and diverse housing of all economic groups. And it's interesting, in the first packet I sent today, there was a new, new's not the right word. The King County Affordable Housing Committee put together one heck of a chart that deals mostly with AMIs at 80% or less. And in Sammamish, that was an interesting chart. It's in the 2021 King County-wide planning policies. And in Sammamish, about 93.3% of our households make over 80% average median income, and a little under 7% make under that. What optimizing is calling for, or alleviating misdevelopment to enable holistic, sustainable enrichments, is what are the needs and wants for all in Sammamish over time. And let's have a community discussion of how that looks. And it comes back to the core question. Should those needs and wants be planned for or not? What are the pros and cons of doing that? Well, it's going to take getting the information to understand what's really needed and wanted, and talking about potential consequences of either staying with our current comprehensive plan or going with less growth of all types, or adding types that our community is short on relative to what we need over time and to reduce what we're long on having oversupplies of. And I don't have the precise numbers, and I want to be less anecdotal and more factual. I didn't put this data together, but there were some public speakers 2 years ago that showed what happened with development regs phase 1, and there was a significant reduction in the number of housing units. And in general, it's getting development in most of the city back to what many people that I've talked to over the years like. Call it the Sahali feel, call it the Timberline feel, call it the Heritage Hills feel. It's fewer homes per acre rather than the contentious plats that were sort of tighter development, whether it's High Grove or Meadowleaf or newer projects that the community did not like. So the city's moving in the proper direction to have housing on what land is available left to meet those feels, which are roughly, anecdotally, closer to 2.5 homes per acre with lot sizes.
Thank you, Mr. Stickney. That's all we have time for this evening.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul Stickney, for your public comment. Amber, do we have anybody else on the line for public comment?
That is all.
And I also want to acknowledge that we've received written public comment on the agenda item from Karen Herring, Mary Victor, and Paul Stickney as well. So commissioners, whenever you get a chance, please go through them as well. So before we wrap up, I just want to check in with Evan and Kelly. Maybe, do you guys have any more updates for us or anything else to discuss? Or commissioners, do you have any other things you want to bring up for this meeting?
I just want to wish you all a wonderful holiday season, and that I hope you get to spend the rest of December enjoying the festivities and being able to spend time with friends and family. I would definitely get a lot of relaxation in if you can, because we're going to keep you busy in 2022. So thank you so much for all your hard work this year. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Thank you, Debbie. And looks like you guys are going to have a very busy December. So good luck with that. And with that, if somebody wants to move for us to adjourn, then and second it.
So moved.
And second.
Thank you very much. We are adjourned from this Planning Commission meeting. Have a good night, everyone. And thank you, staff, for your wonderful presentation and work.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Good night.